Most traders don't go bust because they lack a strategy. They go bust because they cannot look the truth in the eye. The market is a mirror. It reflects exactly who you are, flaws and all. It is brutal, it is silent, and it is completely indifferent to your feelings, your rent, or your ego. You can load every indicator known to man onto your screen. You can read every book on the shelf. It won't save you. If you cannot master the hand that clicks the mouse when the pressure is on, the market will eliminate you like it has eliminated millions before you. There are no warnings, no second chances. The tape doesn't care about your potential. It only listens to price and action. Most fail for one reason. They treat discipline like an option rather than a law. They break the rules of risk once, then twice, then constantly. And when the account hits zero, they act shocked. But the math was always certain. It was only a matter of time. I have watched fortunes appear and vanish in a single afternoon. I've built those fortunes myself, and I've watched them burn. The patterns never change because human nature never changes. Men enter the market with emotion and exit with a hollow stomach and a heart full of regret. Every trader starts with that spark of excitement. You take your first trade, you catch a small win, and suddenly you feel like God. You think you've cracked the code. But that first profit, it's a trap. It's the most dangerous moment of your career. It rewards your randomness and disguises it as skill. It creates an illusion of talent that invites recklessness. You size up too fast, you ignore the structure, and you assume the market owes you a repeat performance. But the market recognizes no past success. When I moved from the sandbox of bucket shops to the real exchanges, reality hit me like a freight train. My edge vanished, and my capital followed. It wasn't the strategy that failed, it was my own arrogance. The market punishes pride without hesitation. There is a sin in trading more expensive than any bad entry, the sin of hope. Holding a losing position, praying for a miracle turnaround, has buried more traders than any crash in history. A loss starts as a scratch, a few ticks, a small dip. But then comes the hesitation. You watch, you wait. Instead of cutting the limb to save the body, you rationalize. You tell yourself it's just a pullback. You check the news looking for anyone who agrees with you. Deep down, the tape is telling you the truth, but you refuse to hear it. Hope replaces logic. Soon the loss isn't just a number on a screen, it's a weight in your chest. You won't exit because exiting means admitting you failed. I've been there. I once watched a loss grow until it wiped out 5 months of hard-won profits. The market didn't do that to me. I did that to me. A small loss is just the cost of doing business. A large loss is a choice. Every second you spend hoping is a second you hand your life over to the chaos. If you don't have a system, you aren't trading. You're just a gambler with good posture. Most people chase noise, follow tips, and enter trades because they're bored. They confuse activity with productivity. Instinct is a liar. What feels right today is usually the very thing that will bankrupt you tomorrow. A system is your only armor against the storm. It must tell you where to get in, how much to risk, and exactly when to walk away. Without it, every trade is an emotional battle you are destined to lose. I used to act on impulse. I saw a stock moving and I jumped. Sometimes I won, but I couldn't repeat it. I realized then, if you can't measure your actions, you can't fix them. The market exposes improvisation. If you want to survive, build a set of rules. If you want to thrive, follow them when your heart is screaming at you to do the opposite. Emotions don't shout, they whisper. Fear tells you to freeze when you should act. Greed tells you to stay when you should leave. They convince you that the market will reverse just for you. But the market doesn't reward belief, it rewards execution. Greed is even more dangerous because it arrives during your wins. You're up, and suddenly the plan disappears. You want more. You overextend. What was a professional trade becomes an emotional gamble. I have felt the sting of both. I've closed trades early because I was scared to lose a small profit, and I've stayed too long because I wanted a home run. Your emotions are not your guide. They are your test. Discipline isn't being cold. It's being clear. It's the strength to act when you are uncertain. The traders who last aren't robots. They just act in spite of what they feel. There is a misconception that bigger bets lead to bigger lives. That lie has destroyed more accounts than bad setups ever have. Risk isn't about how right you are, it's about how much you can afford to be wrong. I never went all in from the start. I tested the water. I waited for the market to prove me right before I added a single dollar of exposure. If the trade worked, I pressed my advantage. If it didn't, I stepped aside. I wasn't there to be bold. I was there to last. One over-leveraged trade is all it takes to erase years of work. You don't win by being loud, you win by being precise. Every trader loses. It is the cost of entry. But the professional uses the loss as data. The amateur uses it as an excuse. They blame the news, the manipulation, or the timing. They bury the mistake and move on to the next disaster. If you don't learn from the pain, the market will keep dealing it to you until you're out of the game. The tape never lies. It is the only teacher that matters. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of the 90% who want the secret but refuse the work. Stay sharp. You trade with reason. And never forget, the market isn't your enemy. Your habits are. Fix the man, and the results will follow.